Hi, welcome to the Bathtub. This is the old masturbator. This is the tariff-free bathtub. We've decided to eliminate all tariffs. We're not doing any tariffs. Everyone can come here without paying a single nickel in tariffs. And unless you start charging us tariffs to come to your stupid website, then this is a good time to remember. Well, there's two things we need to remember. One, this episode is brought to you by 3 paragraphs in the life of Bob Johnson. If it's not 3 paragraphs, it's not Bob Johnson, and you want to watch out for that. I'm going to put a little link down here to our endless stream of stories about Bob Johnson, which will be appearing at Substack every day for free. Everything, we don't charge you for anything for this on this stupid show. You have to watch some commercials sometimes, and this is a good time to also remember, with all the stuff going on, I forgot that we have a solution to all the international tensions and fragmentations in this world, and that is the International Bathing Alliance. It's free. It entitles you to read books in bathtubs anywhere in the known universe. All my old bathing buddies know this, but some of you new people aren't aware that we offer this special certificate. It's an e-certificate, so if you ask for it, I send it to you, and you have to print it yourself. This is Boris Johnson's, and again, once you have this, they can't do anything about it. Even the Trump administration can't stop you from reading great books in the bathtub. This is your documentation, and there's no tariffs on this either. So you might want to get them quick because they're free. At the moment, they're totally free. And you basically send me your name and your location. I know a couple of people have actually done this in the past few months. We've been moving from Facebook to Blue Sky, and we've got furniture all over the place and boxes of e-documents. And we're a little confused lately. If I didn't put you on the map, please remind me. I'll put you on it. We put you on a Google map. And it's free. It's free. And if you don't act now, there could be a 25% tariff put on the zero amount of money you pay. So it'll be 0 plus 25% of that. We're finishing up this is kind of a mission accomplished. It's mission accomplished. I finished the 3 volumes, the lovely Penguin 3-volume edition of 1001 Nights. I've always wanted one of these. There's so many kind of big, bulky editions that aren't very attractive. Penguin came out and did this several years ago with the late great Robert Irwin, and Malcolm C. Lyons and Ursula Lyons did the translations. Good introductions. And again, it's almost 6 or 7 years we've been doing these in the bathtub. I finished the whole 1001 Nights. At the very end, this is a spoiler. Shahrazad's been telling this guy for 3 years every night a story before bedtime. Then they have sex. She has 3 children with this king who's going to cut her head off in the morning. And after three years of telling him these stories, ladies, I'm telling you, this is a good excuse not to get married. I mean, this guy's a total bastard. She tells him the story every night, and her sister's there and watching them have sex and all that stuff. And at the very end of it, she says, "Could you please, after all these years, please don't kill me. Our children will be very upset." And the king says, that's okay. I'm going to let you go, babe. It's okay. Good. You're okay. And he lets her live. That's the surprise ending of 1001 Nights. But the stories they tell along the way are just fabulous. I don't want to tell you anymore. I have to say, I really, about 50 stories near the end, there's a great thing about the mermen, mer people living under the oceans where you travel around. It's this extraordinary visual feast of storytelling. The only thing I haven't finished is there's an 80-page. It turns out the Aladdin story, the story of Aladdin, there were some variant versions, and it was a story that wasn't in the 1001 Nights, or some people thought it was. I didn't quite follow it, but I'm still going to read the Aladdin story, and we'll report on that soon too. But 1001 Nights, I'm giving it to people for birthdays now and Christmases because it's just such a great book. We finished letters. And this is the second part of our letters series. I've been wanting to read letters all my life, or most of my life, because it's, it must be 50 years, 60 years I've had this stupid book in my house. And I've liked John Barth since I was a teenager. I find him difficult, and I was enjoying the letters. I think I'm going to give you a quick summary of my reports in the past. Most of his I think all of his really long books that I've read, about 3/4 of the way through them, I get really fed up. I really enjoyed it for the first half, and then about 3/4, even Sot Weed Factor and Giles Goatboy, both of which I like, and I've now read twice. In that last 7th or 6th of the novel, just the complications are so tied up. We did a report. We did several talks about Chimera, which is probably my favorite of the Barth novels. And I found that with each of the novellas, I would reach a point about 3/4 or 4/5 of the way through the story where I couldn't keep track of who was telling the story to who, and there was the computers were telling it, and it just got too much. I had the same problem with letters. I had a great time with letters about 2/3 of the way through. I was following it pretty well. There's these long sections by a character that links the Salt Weed Factor characters in that history to contemporary, the contemporary town, a little Maryland town where John Barth has been invited to be a guest lecturer or guest teacher. And there's these long historical streams of liars, Benedict Arnold types. Everyone's lying and pretending to do this and pretending to work for the English, but they're working for the Americans, or they're working for the Native Americans, or they're working for the... And it's those sections are pretty difficult anyway, but they get more and more difficult. And then as the book brings it up to the contemporary period, when the book is being written in the 60s, there's a movie being made based on all these old stories. I found it got a little too much. And even the stories that I was enjoying, which was about the English woman who was having an affair with Abraham Mensch, and some of the stories about Todd, I forget the guy, Todd, the character from the characters from End of the Road and Floating Opera are coming back and getting in more relationships, and there's lots of sexual relationships going on. I found about the last seventh of the book, I got fed up. And I really had trouble reading the last seventh of the book. I'm going to read a quick thing where John Barth describes the structure of the book, which starts to be described here at about 654. It's brought up throughout, but just to give you a quick idea of how well it's worked out, almost too well worked out. And this is what John Barth is writing to his friend. I think he's writing Ebert Mensch. I don't remember now. Yes, he's writing to Ambrose Mensch, who's his friend, who's also a character from Lost in the Funhouse. And John Barth writes him, "Here's what I know about the book so far. Its working title is Letters. It will consist of letters, like this, but with a plot, between several correspondents, the capital A author, perhaps included, and preoccupy itself with, among other things, the role of epistles, real letters, forged and doctored letters, in the history of history." That's a fun part of the book, which is everyone's lying and forging documents to everybody, and many of these documents are forged or they're lying, and the history comes out of all this mess. And some of that is quite funny in the history of the Revolutionary period in America. It will also be concerned with, and of course constituted of, alphabetical letters, the atoms of which the written universe is made. Finally, to a small extent, the book is addressed to the phenomenon of literature itself, the third main sense of our word, letters. Literature, which a certain film nut is quoted as calling that moderately interesting historical phenomena of no present importance. Anyway, just a quick sense. Like Nabokov, the idea that stories and history are all these stories that we tell each other and we tell each other, and they sometimes, particularly in Nabokov, language almost creates a world. It's supposed to create a world you can almost live in. And there is a sense of that in letters. At the end of the day, I got fed up with it. I got to say, it made me want to go back and read Salt Weed Factor and Giles Goatboy again someday, maybe. But I have to say, I don't want to read it again. I enjoyed most of it, and then I got a little fed up. It does allow me, though, because I always got stuck here. I wanted to read the books after this. The only book I read after Letters was Once Upon a Time, which is an autobiographical novel, which I reviewed, and I've always wanted to read Somebody the Sailor. So now maybe I can move on. I can take a break from Barth, and take a break, and then I'll go on and get onto those. And hopefully by the third Trump administration, we'll be done. Hopefully we don't have to write. Hopefully we don't have to do Bob Johnson forever. Well, hopefully we'll move on. Okay, stay safe. Happy bathing. Check out Bob Johnson. It's total wasted. It's a complete waste of time, but it makes me laugh, so I can drink my coffee and not jump off the balcony. All right. Some people have asked about Dodo. Here's a little more masturbating news. Dodo's very healthy, very happy, very rambunctious. She's in the other room. She and Lucky have fights about who can be in this room, and Lucky always loses those fights. So during the days, and particularly during the taping of these pointless shows, I put her in the other room, and she's quite happy in there. She's got a mirror, and she's talking to her friends and her reflected friends, and it's a metaphor for the bathtub for her in there, sitting next to the mirror. Okay, stay safe. Don't let anything bother you too much. We're gonna all get through this. We're gonna get through this, or not. That's the only thing. That's the most comfort I can say. We're gonna get through this or not. But no tariffs. We don't charge tariffs here at the bathtub. Act quick.